So now I'm going to explain the function of the load transfer tubes on Effortless Rhythm and Load Limo, and explain how to adjust them properly. So the load transfer tubes are these two tubes that go down to the hip belt, and the purpose is to transfer some of the weight in the pack forward onto the front of the hip belt. So to make it easier to see, I've removed the balance pockets, but you can see that's quite loose now, so that all the weight at the moment is actually going on the back of the hip belt, and none of the weight in the pack is really being transferred to the front. So we have a cord here, and there's adjustment, and you can tighten that cord, and if you do that with the pack on, with the load on, you'll find that the tighter that becomes, the more tension there is on the front of the hip belt. So that cord runs through a tube in the bottom of the pack and joins on the other side. So if you just pull on one side, and then it's a cam lock, pull on one side, put the cord into the lock, into the wedge shape, and lock it there, you will have tightened both sides. So now I've got that as much tighter. There's a bit of weight on the front of the hip belt. And the reason the cord runs right through is because when I twist my body, then that cord can slide through the tube and give that freedom of movement, allowing the shoulder straps to twist in the opposite direction to the hips. So it's quite a ingenious way to allow freedom of movement and yet transfer the weight forward. Of course, when we put the balance pockets on, we're putting all the weight in the balance pockets onto the front of the hip belt, and that gives the most effective distribution of weight around the hip belt.